there it goes. Everybody, watch out and look up. It's Keep Up with Stillvinsane and Aslamalo. Welcome to the show. I'm here with the rest of the Keep Up crew. Here are my comrades and my cohorts. Aslamalo, like I said, the best dude out there. He's our co-host. He's also our graphic artist. He's also does the artwork. It's really good stuff. He mixes in a lot of comic book inspired stuff. He expands also. You'll see the new artwork with the Grim Reaper. He's doing really amazing things. We also have Harry Attilio. He's one of our producers. He does a lot of research for the show. He keeps us in line with timing and stuff like that. Like I said, he's a major contributor to producing the show. We have John, our engineer and moderator. Like I said, he's on Twitch. Thundercat John, spelled with a K.TTV. He's also a content producer. Congrats to him, too. He just got a new job. He's killing it out there in the IT world. Speaking of IT, NS Comtech. His name is Neil. That is his business. If you're in the local area, if you're in the tri-state area, he will come to you. He lives in Long Island, and he'll just drive on by. He has a computer science degree, and he'll be able to fix your computer for a good price. So let's get into some motherfucking topics.
What the fuck happened?
So there was a big Supreme Court win. There was actually a couple of Supreme Court decisions. There was one for LGBTQIA+. Like, it depends on like how many letters of alphabet you want to use. But so they gained some rights within the workplace. You are not allowed to discriminate on someone's sexual preference or orientation. If somebody wants to tell me what the other one happened, they can. I forgot what it was. I didn't write it down. Sorry. There was a comedian there was this funny person on LinkedIn. I got their quote, and it said, "Now that I can't get fired for it, I want everybody to know that I'm gay." And I thought it was funny because like that person didn't have to say it, but like I'm not gay, so I don't know how that's like. I don't know how many people I have to hide that from. I've never had to hide who. Actually, I'm not that type of person. So like I don't even like doing that. When I don't live my truth, it like hurts my body. So I couldn't imagine like someone like living their whole life like that.
Yeah, and good for them. It's about time that they started doing this because it's way long overdue, and nobody should have to hide who they are and what their preference is. We should all be equals in the workplace, and it's just something that should have happened a long time ago. And now there's a lot more things that are going to come out, and things should start changing. So it's about time. Everybody should have the same rights. Nobody should be scared of who they are, and it's perfect timing.
Right on, brother. Right on. Let's get on to something else. We also have the GOP Senate led, and there also a Democratic bill being formed in the House. So the Senate is working on, like we all know, the Senate is Republican dominated, and we know that the House of Congress is dominated by the Democrats. So they're both working on legislation publicly because they have more access to the White House. Tim Scott, he's also a really good politician from South Carolina. I don't want anybody to think that we're biased. We don't give a shit. At least me, I'm not like, I don't care about Democrats either way or Republicans. I think they both suck. But Tim Scott is pretty cool. He's black. He is from South Carolina. He has worked on a lot of bipartisan bills, and that's really all you can ask for, someone that actually wants to work towards a middle ground. I don't consider myself an extremist, but I definitely am far left on a lot of my ideals. Now, I don't think that's how a country should be run. I don't think that would be a monarchy if everything like based on what I like is going down. No, that's why I like diversity. I like what I like at the table, and I like what Oscar has to say at the table. I like what Harry has to say at the table, because then we can all come in and now we hear where we're at. Now we know what we want, and then we can see if we can do it. And now we can see we can make it all happy instead of like being a jerk and being like, okay, my happiness is paramount and nobody else's.
Yeah, and that's true. We should all have our different opinions where we can come together and we can coexist all at once.
And we don't have to coexist either, though, in my opinion. We don't have to coexist. Sometimes I'm doing that right now, by the way. Sometimes I'll comment on something that I really want to on social media. They'll answer, they'll reply, and then I block them. Gotcha, I heard it. I don't want to go in circles.
No, and that's true. And you don't.
Yeah, sorry.
You don't. No, it's okay. And you don't have to surround yourself with that kind of stuff. Like I've seen a lot of different opinions on Facebook, and sometimes I think, should I say something but then I think about the whole back and forth that it's going to create, and I'm not going to be able to change that person's opinion, and it's
Precisely.
just
You're
good.
right.
It's not going to go nowhere. So I try to stay away from that, and it's just not worth my time.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of things, man. You have a lot of things to do with your life. Me too. When I was younger, I had a little bit less, so like I had more time to like wake up at 3 a.m. and see a notification like, let me go just talk to this white supremacist. No, I don't even have time for that. They're slowing me down. So whenever like I get into like that huge, like I'm done. I'm done. I wait for them to reply. If they want to reply, that's cool. If they don't, I move on. But if they do, I just block them. And it's no offense. It's just that's the only way this is going to stop, because you're going to keep going. You're not going to learn anything. I'm probably not going to learn anything. I'm probably going to just be more exposed to you and know that like you're super behind in the times.
Mm-hmm.
And even so, let's get back to the bill though. Let's get back to the bill. The police reform bill. Before there were, and so by the way, big up to Black Lives Matter, the movement, not Antifa. Another made up bullshit. We won't get into that again. But anyway, BLM has led to no choke laws, which is being worked on in the bill. No knock warrants are being taken down. Shout out to Breonna Taylor. Someone was fired. One of the 3 officers were fired. That's not enough, though. They all need to be prosecuted. I'm not for the death penalty, but anything close to that, I'm down. I'm not for the death penalty at all. I just saw this meme because Juneteenth is around in Tulsa and stuff like that. So I just saw this picture of the youngest person ever in United States history to go into the electric chair, and I believe he was like 11 years old, and he was black, and his parents weren't allowed to be there, and even when he was incarcerated, he was in solitude, and I don't know what kind of human being. I don't care what color they are. I wouldn't even do that to a white person. I wouldn't do that to a white person. Anybody. I wouldn't even do that to an animal. I wouldn't even do that to an animal. So my bad. I didn't mean to get all dreary and shit like that. But like I said, this movement has led to these legislation. Yes. Is there some damage of property? Yeah, but there's also damage in property whenever the Lakers do a three-peat. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, I've seen white people during like the fucking World Series. I've seen them during a rivalry, not even just during a World Series, like a playoff win, fucking destroy the streets and shit like that. So we do it for justice. So anyway, to encapsulate that, to finish off that point real quick, and yes, please, I would love to hear your opinion on this bill. Like I said, no choke as a result of this. They're bringing that to the table. No knock warrants, qualified immunity, which is basically the state coming up with any excuse if it's during a police action. If you break down a door, if you break some property, as long as part of the police activity, you are exempt from that. You are going to not be liable for it. And part of that, which there's a huge loophole, not even a loophole, there's a Supreme Court decision that disputes that, is that you're allowed to kill somebody in the activity. So you are less like it's an insurance policy for killing someone. So we're trying to get rid of that, or we're trying to dissolve it, or we're trying to make it harder for cops to be defended when they kill someone. So here you go, Oscar. You got all the info.
Yeah, man. We see it all the time. We see when somebody gets killed, whether they say it's an accident or they use excessive force. We're just now seeing these cops getting prosecuted to the extent of the law, and it's like we've seen it. We saw Dave Chappelle say it on his show. It's like a buddy system where the DA and everybody else is all in it on it together, and they're trying to protect the cops, which we understand. But nobody should be above the law. Not a cop, not a regular citizen. You go, even if you're on the job and you kill somebody, you should have repercussions to that. And it's about time that all this started happening, and it's because of these protesters that we've seen, the movement of Black Lives Matter. It's about time that we start to see all the change and the consequences that if you kill somebody, even if you're a cop, you're gonna get prosecuted, and it's great, Just like last week, we talked about what happened at the Wendy's. Now the same week we saw those cops.
Rayshard Brooks, rest in peace.
Yep, and we see these cops, and they're getting prosecuted. And years ago that wouldn't have happened, But we're now seeing action for what's going on, and it's time, man. I'm so glad that this is happening.
Shout out to Mark Zuckerberg. We tried to promote our episode. Oscar did a very beautiful piece. It was a little controversial, I'm not gonna lie. I'm sure the PBA is gonna come after our ass and bomb our house. But no, I'm joking. It's electric. It's very it's within the times. And even like when they showed that Vietnamese girl being shot in the head, young man,
that was
in the Five Bloods and other publications as well. I've shown it when I was in the news. That we've covered that. The little girl like butt naked in like a war torn country like Vietnam as well. We've seen the Syrian. Shout out to Syria, by the way. They're about to go extinct. Not only are they going through the coronavirus, but they're being bombed by the U.S., Russia, Kurds, Sunnis, freaking ISIS, Turkey. I'm devastated for that country. Yemen and Syria. Sorry, Yemen. Yemen's the one that's actually getting
the crisis that they're going through.
Yemen is going through a humanitarian crisis, everyone. Anybody watching this show, I know that we don't have like 1 million subscribers yet, but like if you're listening to this, if you ever see something, like go out and donate for Yemen. Yemen is in trouble.
Yeah, it's very sad what's happening.
I'm sorry.
No, it's just very sad what's happening in Yemen. I actually saw it on Twitter because it was trending, and I saw a picture of a bunch of little kids and how the starvation's going on over there. And it just really breaks your heart, man. It really breaks your heart.
It does. Go donate. I don't usually say that because there's a lot of phony shit, but find one that goes directly to that. They need our help. Like I can't stress that enough. Let's go on to something lighter. So we just started a new countdown system for what's happening. We're also going to like try to integrate that a little bit for the What the Fuck Play, the video game segment of our show. So let's get into 5 veteran women that should replace Confederate War criminals. And so if you're a hardcore conservative, you would probably say general or something like that. But we call them criminals. We call them anybody that hoards slaves, and you're a criminal. Anyway, George Washington, take them all down. Like I said, you guys don't listen to Run the Jewels yet. Like I said, it's mind blowing. But one of their songs, which Pharrell is on, and in the chorus, he goes, like I said, look at all these dollars with just slave masters on them. Yeah, wow. Literally, we are a country of slave masters on our dollar bills. That's literally the country. Like, you don't even have to look too far of how racist we are. Every single person on those dollar bills has owned a slave.
That's crazy.
And has murdered slaves, has committed genocide. Just saying. So anyway, staying on the lighter note, one of the greatest veterans of all time should have a Confederate statue be replaced with her. Harriet Tubman. This woman has freed the most slaves in history. And not only that, during Republicans, when they were part of the Union, when they were part of the establishment of trying to abolish slavery, Harriet Tubman was a scout and an army spy. Why not? Replace it with that. Harriet Tubman is the shit. Edith Norse Rogers. This is someone I don't know. Mother of WAC. She is in an unofficial capacity to World War I. She was a newlywed in the field hospital for Red Cross. I should have read this, sorry. But she sponsored the GI Bill of Rights. So there you go. That's just from that, the GI Bill of Rights. There's so many people that have gone off to war, veterans and stuff like that, except for blacks and except for minorities. Unfortunately, they gained benefits that carried them over for life. You know what I'm saying? PTSD, all those type of things that they carry. They need health insurance. They need benefits. So that was big. We have Charity Adams Early, first African-American woman Army officer. That's a good replacement right there. During World War II, she's from North Carolina. We have Mary E. Clark, the Army's longest serving woman. That's a good one. Why not? Then we have, last but not least, Lori Petzois. She's the first Native American woman to die in combat. So these are people that are much better than Robert E. Lee, much better than frickin' Ulysses C. Grant, much better than Abraham Lincoln, much better than George Washington, who used to lock up the whole town of Mount Vernon that was all full of slaves. He used to lock them up whenever it was time for night. So imagine that. Imagine when it was time to go to sleep, he would lock them in. He would put padlocks on their doors so they couldn't get out until it was time to start serving them.
That's it.
Couldn't go to the bathroom, outhouse, nothing. Doctor, nothing. That is the person that you have on your dollar bill. So anyway, moving on. We have to wrap up. Our producer Harry's telling us we have to wrap up, and we have 3 more topics, so we'll do them quick. Uncle Ben and Aunt Jemima, thank you. Like Oscar said, we are riding the wave, the momentum of taking out, purging racism. I know we have the movie and the television show called The Purge. Well, right now we are experiencing the purge. Instead of people going to shoot people that are poor and black, we're going and we're taking down racist shit. So lead us with that real quick, and actually lead us with Kyrie Irving too, please.
Okay, so let's. I'm gonna cover the Aunt Jemima because that was also a surprise to me. You know, we all grew up with that, and it was so weird to hear this because I had no idea of that. You know, I had that in my refrigerator upstairs, and it's the weirdest thing to hear about. And it's her. She's basically based on somebody who was a slave, Nancy Green from 1834, and you know they took her and she became the poster child of the brand, and not only that, but she just became that poster child. And if you look up her, you know, the slogan, you could see that it's you know, it's a black woman, and she has the thing up here, and she's serving pancakes, and you know, and yeah, it'll say, yeah, and it'll just say, you know, like I'm looking at one of the first ones that came out, and it says, "The tangy delight to tickle your appetite, Aunt Jemima buckwheats," and it's like, you know, you look at that kind of stuff, and you're like, wow, you know, and it's good that these things are coming out because we're unaware of these things, you know, because we're living through a time where we don't know when this originated and when it did. So it's good, you know, we need these changes because we don't need our kids to grow up not knowing what the hell's going on, you know, not knowing what something originated, whether it was racist or not. These things should be abolished, and we should move on from these things.
Yeah. Put that Aunt Jemima stuff in a museum also. Like anything that has that kind of, we're Americans. We don't all have to share the same white history.
Mm-hmm.
We don't all have to glorify like the forefathers and stuff like that. There's a lot of important people that have benefited to this country, and that's just as patriotic, and that's okay. There's a lot of Asian Americans. There's a lot of, like, we got George Takei on the other side, like with Star Trek and his advocacy. We have so many people. We have women out there. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she's the one with Basis of Sex. She's the one that made discrimination illegal for everyone, not just for men. Discrimination against all people creed. So anyway, Aunt Jemima, Uncle Ben.
Uncle Ben.
On Uncle Tom's Cabin, all the tropes that you hear with that, all the stereotypes, all the racist connotations, and that's just in a bowl of rice. So go into Uncle Drew's basketball league, Oscar, please.
So you know we have.
Anyway, to wrap that up, go the Washington Rednecks. We're purging sports logos to the Cleveland Indians, the Chief Wahoo, the freaking Dan Snyder team. Like I said, the Redskins, fuck them too. The Blackhawks, the fucking all these racist names, the Tomahawk Braves, fuck them. All of them, they need to come down.
Yeah.
And I've been battling people on Instagram. You're listening to this. If you're fucking watching it, you loser. Fuck you. Please tell us about Kyrie. He's trying to lead the NBA.
Yeah, you know, we have the league is going to start up. They already proposed a plan where they're going to go into a bubble in Orlando. You know, they have all the facilities over there in partnership with ESPN, and it's great. You know, if the NBA can come back and finish their season, why not? You know, if they don't finish the season and a lot of these players choose not to come back, it's going to affect their collective bargaining agreement, and you know that's when the league can basically take up that paper and rip it up, and they can start writing everything all over again. They can start creating new how you can get your money. And right now the NBA and the players, they're at a peak right now where they're making $40 million a year. If you're one of the biggest superstars, you have Steph Curry making that much money. And it's great for the NBA, you know. It's evolved so much from the 90s, and these players deserve all that money, you know. They work their asses off to perfect their craft. And it should be well rewarded. But if the league doesn't start up again, it's going to affect their money, and it's going to affect everybody who works, everybody who works in the arenas, from the management to your local concession. So Kyrie Irving now, he has taken a stand in where he doesn't want to go back, but it's very mixed also, because he asked the league because he just had season-ending surgery. So he asked the league if he could go and support his team, but they told him, any other time we would say yes, but because of COVID-19, we don't want anybody going out there and putting themselves at risk. So sorry, Kyrie, you're not a part of the team right now because you had the surgery. You're not allowed to go over there. So as soon as that happened, he did a 360-degree turnaround, and now he wants to start his own league. He's telling players to sit out. He's telling them, don't do it. They're just using us for our talents. We make the NBA. Everybody knows the most talented players are the African Americans in the NBA. We all know that, from seeing documentaries from the 1950s to the 60s on how the league transitioned when they joined up with the ABA, Dr. J came, and everybody. We all know that, they're the most talented players, and that's great. But at the same time, Kyrie, to me, you're wrong, because you can't go out there and create your own league. You're not a billionaire. You don't have arenas, and you don't have any of that. So I get it. You're salty. You can't do this and that. But come on, dude. That's still your job. I can't tell my job, oh, I'm not going to show up, or I'm not going to do this and that. No, we all have a job we have to uphold, and we just got to keep going. I don't know what's going on with Kyrie. I do know that he is talking to Steven Jackson. So maybe Steven Jackson has given him a lot to say now, and he's influenced him a lot. So who knows, man? It's sad because, in this day and age, sports is something that we look forward to. We want that entertainment, and it's a bonding experience with family members. I'm very close to my father-in-law and his family, and I've gone over there so many times to see finals games, and it's been great. That brought us together more. It's just something to do, watch with your family, with your friends, like me and you, Vince. We made a tradition also with Tracy and Kyle where we go and watch.
But to wrap it up though, just like us, we have to find something else to do. And I hate to be insensitive to the Aramark employees out there and stuff like that, and concession stands. But that happens in life. Sometimes things close down. The Trump with the tariffs in China, and we found out John Bolton, through his book, which we will talk about next episode, because I will be listening to his new book tomorrow that the judge said that he could bring out, and whatever. We'll talk about that next week. But like I said, the top, you're right, sacrifice people all the time. And it sucks. It happens. But Kyrie, I want to give my unbiased opinion on this to wrap it up. Go Nets.
Boo.
What the fuck did I hear?
And right now, we're going to set a record for the shortest what the fuck did I hear. Nobody contributed to it, so I'm going to say Rouge by Jorja Smith is a song that you need to listen to. I also recommend the King of Staten Island soundtrack. I also recommend a new show that I haven't watched yet, High Fidelity, starring Zoe Kravitz. It's on Hulu. I'll be watching it soon, so you'll hear a review. But those soundtracks are incredible. Say it again?
That show is amazing.
Oh, good. Harry can talk about it. So good. When we get it on the show next week, me and Harry will tag team that. Eiffel Tower that. Actually, I would love to Eiffel Tower Zoe Kravitz with you, Harry. I would be honored. But, so...
How dare you? She's a nice lady!
What the fuck did I watch?
I watched Servant on Apple TV Plus. It is a comeback. Well, how many comebacks does M. Night Shyamalan get? I guess unlimited. All good. Sometimes he comes out some really good shit. So Servant, like I said, is about a family that loses a child. The woman goes through a nervous breakdown. She's Claire from, and I forgot the actress's name, but it's Claire from 6 Feet Under, the redhead. And she's very good on it. There's also a character from Sons of Anarchy. He's really good. He's the husband. He's a chef. He's a microbiology gastronomist. That means he's like this hardcore chef that makes sure that all the restaurants in the city. So they find this nanny that's pretty possessed, and she has a lot of kooky shit going on with her. And all of a sudden, this baby that they had as a doll comes to life. And
Whoa, I need to get on that.
That is a crazy show. It's on Apple TV Plus. If you don't have Apple TV Plus, they give, I think, 1 month to 1 to 3, depending on like what kind of deal you have. 1 to 3, it's worth it. There's a couple of good shows. Like I said, the Mythic Quest, starring Rob McElhenney from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So yeah, no, Apple TV Plus is pretty quality. They don't have a lot of shows, and there are some duds. I heard that the one with Aquaman, the one with Jason Momoa. My mom and dad tried to watch, and it was terrible. I heard Defending Jacob with Chris Evans is pretty good. I haven't watched that yet, but like I said, I've seen a couple of Apple TV Plus shows. They're not bringing it out like Netflix or any other streaming sites. They're not like trying to compete with them by like just giving you more and more. They're very selective. So if you're into that, all good.
And do you get every episode right away? Do you get every episode right away like Netflix?
Yeah, and they even have a Bob's Burger created show too. It's called Central Park.
Okay,
It's all the same animation. They have really good stuff. They have really good programming. I'm not gonna lie, Apple TV Plus has really good programming. So they have a show about a reboot of Nancy Drew, starring I think what's her name, the one from Pitch Perfect and Age of 17, Stansfield or something like that.
Ellie Seinfeld.
Lead us in the new show. I know it's not new, but it's on its second season. Mr. Iglesias.
Yes, Mr. Iglesias.
So the show Mr. Iglesias is about a high school teacher just trying to get the misfits of the school just to pass history class and other grades in their high school career. And he's that teacher he's that teacher that like looks out for the kids, and the teacher that everyone kind of needs. You know, the one that's just looking out for everybody. A lot of jokes.
Comedy or feel good?
It's a feel good comedy, I'd have to say.
Nice.
They bring up like political issues in a funny way as well. Like this whole Latinx thing was in there. They brought up like clean energy. You know, the basic.
Yeah, don't let your girlfriend catch you saying Latinx. Latinx.
Nope.
Sounds like a feel good Dangerous Minds with a twist of comedy. So you give us that, I'm all for it, man.
Imagine Iglesias coming out to Coolio. No, I don't think Harry met that kind of misfit. I think they're just like kind of like awkward.
Yeah.
He takes care of the dumb kids, pretty much. You know, they have the smart class and the dumb class.
He takes Steve Harvey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Steve Harvey used to have like the quote unquote room kids.
Yeah, the
Bullet and Romeo.
Yeah, Romeo. Oh, rest in peace. He was good. He was good on that show.
And then you had his psychic Bullethead.
That's right. I love Bullethead. He was great. That was a good show. Shout out to Steve Harvey. That's when he was actually really, really good. Kings of Comedy. Yeah. He's a little bit exponent now.
That's before he sold out.
So we have, me and Oscar watched The King of Staten Island. I'll give you a little plot line to that real quick. It's about this guy that is like pretty much like a stoner and shit like that. His name is Pete Davidson. Well, not in the movie, obviously. It stars Pete Davidson. It has Marissa Tomei. It also had Judd Apatow's daughter. I forgot her name. She's cool. She's in it. It's got a lot of cameos, actually.
Bill Burr.
Soundtrack is awesome. Kid Cudi's on it. I mentioned that before in the What the Fuck Did I Hear? But basically, like I said, it's like this dude that's like this failed like tattoo artist and shit like that. And he's just trying to figure shit out. And yeah, it's like kind of a coming of age of a mid 25-year-old in Staten Island. Very, very good. Very funny. A lot of introspect into the Staten Island area. You know, a lot of us view it as a dump. But hey, everything starts as a dump.
Yeah, and if you like dark humor, this movie's right up that alley. You know, you're watching this and you're like, holy shit, did they really say that? But it's that dark humor that we need sometimes. Yeah, this movie actually really surprised me with Pete and Bill Burr, because we've seen Bill Burr on he was in The Mandalorian in one of the episodes, but it really surprises you. These guys stepped it up. Yeah, these guys stepped it up, and it was actually
me and Harry watched that show, and that just premiered its 4th season, right, Harry?
Yeah, season 4 just came out.
That's right. I haven't watched it yet. Vince Vaughn produces that show. He actually brought it to Netflix. It's Bill Burr's show, obviously, but they both co-produce it.
Yeah, Bill Burr was also just recently on Joe Rogan, and he's awesome. He's very honest. He talks about He talks about his life, talks about these movies, these shows he starred in. So it's pretty cool. It's good to see these actors getting their chance and actually doing a good job, because a lot of times when we see these comedians go into a movie, they bomb, and we're like, maybe you should stick to comedy.
No, Pete Davidson did a quality performance. Everybody, Marissa Tomei, Bill Burr, kudos. We won't spoil anything, so let's move on. Please lead us in You Should Have Left. Don't spoil too much and keep it quick.
Yeah, so we have You Should Have Left. It stars Kevin Bacon, and
Amanda
it's basically
Seyfried.
yes, and it's basically one of those movies where it's a haunting, something paranormal. I'll leave it at that. But it's just this is a movie that is video on demand. It's at the movies right now, but you know what? You could watch it at the comfort of your own home. You could rent it. So do that. Save yourself a trip, get some popcorn on the couch, and just enjoy it.
Nice. And it's a big controversy because of the age gap, and we've talked about that before. I personally don't agree with age gap shaming or any type of age shaming. If Kevin Bacon, who's married to Kira Sedgwick, she was from, I think, Cold Case or something like that, or the I forgot. It was a crime show. She's a really good actress as well. But anyway, that's between them. That's between anybody else. If people want to date who they want. But anyway, that's the big controversy. That I haven't seen it yet. I'll give a little bit of a take on it next week. But you gave a great review on it. Thank you. The Last Emperor, that won 9 Academy Awards. It was basically about Puyi. He was the last emperor of China. It shows him being a prisoner of like the World War II and like how it happened. He's literally the last dynasty of China after World War II. So if you need to see a retro movie that won a bevy of Academy Awards, go watch that. And the last thing to wrap it up, Looney Tunes. We don't have to get too far into it, but we think it's a little silly. I think it's a little silly that people have a problem with SpongeBob being gay, and they also have a problem, which again, this is fiction. Who cares? And there's gay people out there. Who cares also? They took away Elmer Fudd's gun, and in the new cartoon, it's not like they edited it out of the old ones. Like, who cares? It's not that serious. Like, why do you need violence in your show that badly? Like, why are you obsessed with your children seeing guns in a show that badly?
Yeah,
Elmer Fudd with 70 Cent. So let's wrap that up. Go ahead, Oscar. Give us.
Yeah, and we grew up with the Looney Tunes, so there's nothing wrong with that. On HBO Max, if you haven't checked it out, they actually have new Looney Tunes episodes that they created. And right. I actually saw a couple of them with Ava, and she would not stop laughing. It was awesome. Yeah. It was great, and I loved it. So, it's for people who are sensitive. I don't get it. We grew up with this, so whatever.
It's hard to find programming that the whole family can watch, or you and your daughter can watch. So kudos to freaking Looney Tunes, and I'm glad that you guys found something.
What the fuck did I play?
And this is another. Next week, guys, will be better. We're going to contribute to the outline more. But anyway, and I'm not even going to go that hard on this either because we don't have that much time also. And plus, The Last of Us, I didn't play that much. I'm not going to lie. I was very excited to get it on the pre-order, but I was more excited about the extra content. It wasn't like I needed to play it at midnight. It's going to be a long game. It's like, I think a lot of people have reached 50 hours to complete it. That's okay. I'm in for the long haul. It's a beautiful game. It's from Naughty Dog, the same creators as Tomb Raider and Uncharted and so many other great titles. Oscar's right. They do keep up with like kind of a theme. If you haven't played Last of Us 1, it stars the voice actually is Ellen Page.
Yes.
She is the girl. And I don't know who plays the man, but it's basically like Walking Dead, but a little twist at the end, which I'm not going to tell you there's a little twist. It's not exactly like Walking Dead. You're like, it is like Walking Dead. And it's like Omega Man. It's like the that Will Smith movie and Charlton Heston, the old one. I Am Legend. It's like basically just the end of the world, the apocalypse, and they're just traveling through cities, and it's really detailed. It's really beautiful. Even though it's an older game, it's like one of the first PS4 games. If you play it on the PS Pro today, it's one of the most gorgeous games, even today. So hop on that, hop on the sequel. It's probably it's probably the last good title before PS5 comes out.
What the fuck did I say?
Let's talk about sleep divorcing. What do you think about that, Oscar? I read that online. I read a couple things. How do you feel about sleep divorcing? I know it sounds aggressive. It sounds like something bad, but it's actually not.
No, you know what? My grandparents, since I remember knowing them in this country, they had separate beds, It's just something of the old of an old time. I don't see nothing wrong with it. It's if you agree with your husband or wife that this is what you want separate beds to sleep in. I don't see any problem with it. We're living in modern times where you could do whatever the hell you want. So
Yeah, totally agree with you, dude. I did it. I'm not gonna lie. I think my view has changed, even though I've never been married, and I don't even think I've cohabitated with a woman before.
Mhm.
Whatever, I will one day. I hope I do. That'd be nice, or maybe not. But sleep divorce it seems sensible. It seems if you need to do it, I would prefer to sleep with my wife, my partner. I would prefer that. That would be nice. It's easy access. No, I'm joking, but people have this misnomer like that doesn't happen. As if like separate beds and even separate rooms. That's what I'm even talking about. I'm not even talking about separate beds. Like I
oh
know that
wow,
that's
separate
a variation of it, but people even have separate rooms because,
hmm
for instance, sorry, the person they were talking about in the article is like somebody like a Ryan Seacrest type. Oh, it wasn't even Ryan Seacrest. Sorry, the article was about Carson Daly. There you go. He was talking about sleep divorcing because he wakes up at 3 a.m. every day and his wife does not.
Wow.
That's unfair. That's unfair to do to somebody, even the family. So I think I thought it was a good idea that he has a separate room. They're rich, obviously. He works on The Voice. So it doesn't make, so obviously for different people, different circumstances, but I thought that was a cool idea. So that's why we brought it on. What the fuck did I say? Fake advocates. So we're going to wrap this up. And of course, we're going to get your thoughts, guys. I don't want to leave you guys out. It's a great episode, by the way. We covered a lot of ground. We kept things organized, so we can't ask for more than that. So fake advocates. I'm going to start it off with a Instagram post that I posted on my story, stillvinsane. And so it says, y'all screaming, protect black women, and still kicking it with your homeboy who posted his girl's nudes, still chilling with another homeboy accused of rape, kicking it with the homie who degrades women at every chance he gets. Get the fuck out of here. And it's true. It's true. And I want to actually give truth to that. A lot of us who have been in relationships, I'm not saying, actually, I can't even say a lot of us. I'm going to say me. I'm not gonna lie, like I recorded stuff during, not everybody, I recorded stuff and not like without the person knowing, by the way. This was all like consensual recording stuff. But it's wrong to keep it after the relationship. And the only reason why I say that is, yes, it is your property. You both were performing in it. That's cool, blah, blah, blah. But it gets pretty toxic when you freaking break up with someone. And the thoughts that go into your head are not good. They're not good. So to be honest, it's like kind of like a nuclear warhead. Like you don't want it to get in the wrong hands. So with like the fappening and like a lot of that can be prevented by just deleting it. And I'm not even saying that's the end all to anything. I'm not even saying that's the fix to revenge porn and shit like that. But the first of many steps is to get rid of it. So I would like to make an announcement, something really personal. One of my exes, I had a couple of videos and a couple of pictures, even like a boob shot and shit. Got rid of it because there was a time in my life, not now, I've grown from it. But a long time ago, there was times where I thought about doing it. And it's illegal, first of all. It's illegal to do. It's disgusting to do to someone. But that's how hurt people are. And that's why someone should not have that in their possession. So I suggest, first of all, don't record yourself fucking. That's a great way to prevent anything. B, when the relationship's over, at least, get rid of it. Like, jerk off to it a couple of times, but like, be done with it after that. Because, like, again, it's too tempting. So like I said, I got rid of it all. I've looked on every one of my clouds and all that stuff. I got rid of it. It was just wasn't beneficial to me anymore.
And that's good. Good for you, Vince. You moved on, and you want to prevent anything from happening. You can get into a lot of trouble with that kind of stuff if it gets leaked. So good for you.
Have you guys? I'm not asking if you've recorded or anything like that, but like, have you guys ever been like, in a situation where like you had something to hurt another person, but you just said, let me just get rid of this. Like, let me just be done with this so that I don't even do that to that person. Like, I know I hate that person, but like, I don't want to live that life.
Me just personally, I've never had anything like that just because of the fear of anything just getting out. You just want to be careful. Even I've been married so long, I don't even feel comfortable with just anything of me and my wife on my phone. And it's my phone just because it's, you never know, you can be hacked, and if something gets out, that's out there. That's out there in the world for everybody to see, and that's the last thing you would want to do. You don't want to embarrass anybody. You don't want to hurt anybody. So it's just best to keep it off, and just be very careful because things get out there. We've seen plenty of times where, people. I've seen men try to hurt women, and those men get in trouble for that, and if they deserve to get in trouble for that because no woman should be put out there for the whole world to see for a private moment.
I agree, especially if the publishing of that moment is not consensual. Maybe the recording of it was consensual, but the actual distribution of it. And there's all types of things that can happen. There's people that are like, either underage in a situation or like they were dealing with somebody's homie's girlfriend or like they were in some crazy nasty shit. It's just better not to have proof of that stuff, you dumbass. We're talking to you, Kashi 6'9", with your 13-year-old ass. Anyway, joking. I'm assuming Harry doesn't have anything in the end to contribute to this because he's like rushing us through the outro, but that's his job, so I can't be mad at him for it. Like I said, get rid of the Redskins, get rid of the Chief Wahoo. That's the next step. BLM will never end, and it shouldn't. We should all be dedicated to making Oscars Lives Matter. The only way to get to All Lives Matter is to actually accomplish Black Lives Matter.
Exactly.
Black trans matter, no anti-Semitism, none of that stuff. We all need to treat each other. Yes, all lives matter. Yes, that's obvious. But the people that need more help, we need to focus on them too. So let's get to the outro. Let's get people our handles for social media. Like I said, Twitter, we are Keep Up NY. Twitch, we are Keep Up NYC. Instagram, we are Keep Up NYC as well. Patreon, which we will fill up very soon, by the end of the summer at least. You'll get to see us. We're also thinking about getting on Cameo, giving like personal messages to people for a nice price. Facebook, our fan page is run by our new social media manager, Anama. She's my cousin. We welcome her back. She was getting a little busy, so now we got her back on schedule. She'll be scheduling our social media posts and talking and engaging with fans. So if anybody has something to say, if anybody has a question, if they want to participate in a poll or a giveaway, you hit her up. So we have my personal Instagram, which is stillvinsane. Oscar's personal one is Oslamalo. Harry's is Jubear, 23, I believe, right? Our birthday. Then we have John, like I said, Thundercat. The cat is spelled with a K, john.ttv. So if you want to catch up with him and watch him on Twitch, please do so. And we're going to get the fuck out of here. Let's do it. You better shut the fuck up.
Listen up.
And keep up.
With Oslamalo.
And Stillvinsane. Over and out.